Hi everyone, it's Kate from the Forward Line and we're back to talk all things sewing bee. Hope you enjoyed last night's episode. It was the semi-finals, which is very exciting. Just to say, if you haven't watched it yet, don't watch this. Go and watch the programme and then come back and we'll talk you through everything. So I've got some great patterns. Last night's was really tricky. Anyone else who tries to find patterns will appreciate it. It was a really tricky one. So first challenge was to make these sort of 1940s men's trousers, quite baggy. As I said last week, I'm getting a little frustrated that every single technical challenge is a men's challenge. So I decided to rebel this week and find the women's equivalent of what was on last night because, yeah, I'm just a bit fed up with all the menswear, to be honest. Right, so I've got two really great pairs of trousers. So the trousers that they made were high-waisted, relaxed fit, pleats at the front, waistband, full fly, and a turn-up. So I've got two really good options. The first one is the Hollywood pant from the Sewing Workshop. This comes in sizes 6 to 24. This one is pretty close, actually. It's got the pleats at the front. They have taken a classic men's pair of tailored trousers and kind of changed them for women's wear. The only thing it doesn't have is the turn up, but that, you can add that in yourself. I thought that was a really nice kind of, yeah, pretty spot on. The other pattern that we had is the Hollywood pants and shorts from Folkwear. This comes in sizes 4 to 30. And this one, I put this one in because actually there's like three quite different options and they're quite vintage feeling, and I thought this might be, it's pretty close as well. So the tailored trouser is pretty spot on again. It doesn't have the turn up, which obviously you can add yourself. Pleats at the front, fly. It has a pair of +4s as well, and then these sort of flared shorts, which I thought were really nice. So actually, if you like making kind of vintage inspired clothing, this bundle would give you quite a lot of options. So I thought it was worth sort of adding that one in. Right, so the next challenge was the upcycling challenge. They were given parachute silk and they had to make dresses out of it, which all ended up actually quite wearable for once, which was surprising. And then the final challenge was, the theme was to create something based on Dior's new look. So I think a couple of people didn't quite, personally, I think, didn't quite meet the brief, but there were some amazing things made. But gosh, it was very tricky this week. We really had to, we spent a long time looking, and I think we're going to need your help. So first up we've got Raf. He made a sort of 1950s outfit, so a full circle skirt with a blouse. I'm pretty sure this one is right. It kind of flashed across the screen and I managed to get the number down. So I know this one is spot on. It's a Simplicity 8445. So it is a really lovely blouse. Again, grown on sleeves, quite a big collar, but it's almost like a flat collar, so it doesn't have a stand on it, which means it's kind of easier to make. Really sweet. And then the circle skirt, I think he drafted himself from what he said on the show. So I haven't included that, but there are some circle skirt patterns in that. I thought we weren't going to include that because it's kind of an easy one. But yeah, this one is spot on if you liked the blouse. And he used really interesting, for anyone who didn't see it, he used really interesting fabrics. And I think that's what made his kind of look so modern. So he used a scuba fabric for the skirt on top of a sort of a power mesh that they use for trainers. And then for the blouse, he used a really lightweight ripstop fabric, so a sort of nylon, but it was sheer and very kind of floaty. It was really interesting that he used such modern fabrics, and I thought it was a really clever take on it. So next up was Rebecca's Flora Ensemble. This was the one that I thought felt the least sort of Dior new look to me. This the shape of it felt more 1940s than 50s. And so the dress, it was like a skirt and top. The top was a V-neck blouse, buttoned down the front, and then had a little peplum, puff sleeves. And I think also the fabric that she used very vintagey floral fabric, which I think made it feel more 40s to me, but that was just my own opinion. So we've got, I think this one was really hard to find, but Rachel found this and I'm pretty sure that she's got it right. So it's the McCall's, for the blouse, the McCall's 7978. I think she added the peplum on because we couldn't find anything else, and the shape of the rest of it is so similar. So if you look at version, if I show you the line drawing, version A looks absolutely bang on what she made last night. It's got the panelling around the waist, it's got the gathering in the shoulders, there's a short sleeve puffed option, and I'm pretty sure, and the version A looks like it ends at the tummy, on your waist, so if you added then the peplum, that would be pretty much spot on. For the skirt, it was quite a simple shape. It's we picked the Simplicity 1369, which we thought would work really well. It's a kind of a gathered skirt, but with not loads of gathering, so it wasn't really full, which was similar to the one on the show. I think those two together would create the look, and you just add the peplum onto the blouse. So Serena's one was amazing, and I thought the most close to the brief, that it really felt like Dior's. It was super chic. So she had, her outfit was a pair of cigarette pants on the bottom and a tailored jacket on the top. The trousers were sort of high waist, slightly cropped, really nice, had little pleats at the front. The jacket had 3 buttons down the front, a kind of quite a wide big collar, and seam at the waist, and a sort of peplum. It then had these statement sleeves, so these quite big kind of voluminous sleeves. She put a pleat at the top of the sleeve head. Rachel and I looked for ages and ages and ages, and we just couldn't find it. So if you know the pattern, please let us know, because we looked for about an hour and a half for this last night and we just couldn't find it. So I've got 2 patterns that I think would work really well. The first one is the Vogue 8333. I put this one in because it's a classic tailor jacket. It's got that nipped in waist, 3 buttons down the front, classic kind of collar shape. The thing is, it doesn't have the seam at the waist and then a sort of peplum. I don't know whether she used something like this and changed the pattern. I think all she was using a vintage pattern. We even had a bit of a look through the vintage patterns and couldn't find anything. So I thought this, if you'd wanted to recreate that, this would be a really good starting block. The other starting place. The other one that we've got is the Barbary jacket from Charlotte Emma Patterns. I know this one wasn't used because it was released more recently, but the shape is very similar. So it's got the 3 buttons down the front, it's got that nipped in waist, it's got that, and it nips out almost over your thighs. So not over your thighs, over your hips. So this definitely has that sort of feel. That's another option, but yes, if you've got suggestions, we'd love to know. For the bottoms on this, we thought that the Vogue V1704 was very similar. Pleats at the front, quite fitted, sort of cigarette style. Hers, Serena's was slightly cropped, so you could crop them. And I thought that would kind of work really well. So last but not least, Fari colour block dress. This one, she said that she'd self-drafted, so obviously we've just looked for something similar that has the same sort of feel. So the dress was quite fitted, pencil skirt, crossover at the front, high neckline, quite wide sleeves, and then it had this kind of amazing sash that came round the front. We sort of looked for the same sort of shape of dress. The dress that we thought was quite similar was the Vogue 1239. It had that same sort of neckline, the crossover at the front. The skirt is more flared, but we think that sort of has the same sort of, the kind of loose sleeve on it as well is quite similar. We thought if you were like desperate to make it as a starting point for the silhouette, that this would be really close. And the Vogue one's got a big belt at the front, so you could use that belt pattern, extend it and make it into that sort of bit that kind of swooped over the front. We were so sorry to see her go. It was really sad, but you know, these things happen, I suppose. And yes, we're very excited about the final next week. I'm sure you guys are too. Rachel and I have already got bets on who we think is going to get the title this year. Yeah, so we'll see you again next week for the last instalment. All right, have a good week. Bye.